Hello everyone. We are going to talk to Dr. Sethuraj Raju, and he's my friend and a research scholar. He was a research scholar with me in IIT Delhi. We actually work together in the different lab, and he work in the statistical optics and super resolution. There is a multiple application in optics. So we have right now Sethuraj Raju to discuss about his research. So hello Setu, how are
Hi.
you?
Hi.
Yeah. So, Setu, this is a very short talk. So, we'll discuss everything about mostly the surface part of research, how you do the research and how you work in the research field. What are the problems you faced, and different kind of challenges, collaboration challenges, and multiple things. And what is your future direction of research, and how you actually inspire the aspiring researchers to work in this field, because there are lots of difficulties in this field. So, and why PhD is good to the current youngsters to understand that for their career. So everything we'll talk about that. So I will start with that. So Setu, can you tell me about your background and motivation of research?
By background, what do you mean? Like.
Background, educational background, and after that, why you choose to pursue research?
Oh, so I must start with my basic where I'm come from. I'm from Kerala, and
Yeah,
I'm from a relatively village-like situation, and I learned in a government school.
yeah.
So I was the kind of a superstar there. I used to go every science. Like any events related to science that will be either in school or in district or state level.
Yeah,
So I had, even though I'm from a village and from such very basic situation, I had very good exposure towards
yeah,
science. I interacted with scientists, and I had real passion about doing science. In school days on itself, we did several projects and wrote some decent enough thesis about our observation and all those things. So everything inspired me, my teachers, my people around me. So that give the make the foundation of my scientific journey. Later on, I choose engineering. But I eventually realized that the real fun which I had, but for me, was not doing a engineering job, but to do research.
yeah.
And when I did my master degree, we had to do 1 year project that was in RRCAT. That is the time it like I really understood I'm really good in research. So
Yeah.
that motivates me to do a PhD, and yeah,
Okay.
that's basic
That's very good.
motivation.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So, what I understand, you did engineering. That means in which branch, basically?
Oh,
Basically,
it's electronics and communication.
yeah, electronics and communication. After that, you chose optics. So basically, it's technically
So
and after
there,
that,
like there, we have this optical communication, which is
yeah,
inherently a part. So when I applied for a master degree in optoelectronics and laser technology, it was not I am discontinuing what I did at
yeah,
strategy. It was a continuation of what we
yeah.
learned. It was more about optical communication, lasers and optics, or modern optics and all those things. So yeah, so there is a continuation, obviously. Yeah.
So I have seen you do. I've seen you in IIT doing great research. So I've
Thank you.
seen discussing lots of things about your research. So can you tell me about these the people are here in on social platform, that what is your basically research focus in layman term, to understand those audience, and it's only on surface level.
So when I started my PhD, it was mostly about quantum technologies. Then, because of funding and other reason, I changed my research into statistical optics. Uh,
Hmm.
so, so, so people who are already in optics may know, but say like we use different theories of light to deal with different applications. So if you just want to know wave propagation, simple wave theory is enough. Or In most cases, simple ray theory is enough. And if you want to know more detailed behavior of light to suit to multiple application, we have to go more into other behavior like statistical optics. And the whatever which we cannot explain using statistical optics, we have to use the quantum optics. So I worked in an area which is somewhere between statistical and quantum optics. So that's basically my PhD topic was.
Yeah.
And so it's more like so when a science being delivered into application, there is always fundamental theoretical work and experimental work which explain this fundamental theory, and there are applied researchers which use this proved experimental facts into applications, and there is engineering part where we really deliver the products into it. So there are theoreticians who work in the first level, very basic level. So I was doing experiment which prove those theories and experimentally realize and get inferences based on that. So in PhD, I my work is like in after PhD. So I the main project mean like I'm doing for last 2 years is basically on super resolution. That is like the microscope which we have without changing its physical, without having any, without upgrading into electron microscope or anything. How can we improve resolution using physics? So that is the question I did. And this is Institute of Optics, where this whole field of statistical and quantum optics developed. So I have a lot of colleagues who are interested in the gaps in the understanding of statistical and quantum optics. So I have some work which goes in sideways, that is to basically in the realm of understanding the phenomena better.
So basically, in the supervision, you work experimentally or working on the simulation imaging processing method.
So both are the so like so I don't know how many of you are familiar with super oscillation. So it basically when we have a image, so we can take what are the frequency content in it. We take the Fourier transform of it. So that is basically is the global frequency. But if you take a single point and take the derivative of that, that is called a local frequency. So we can engineer this local frequency to create some regions which is the like in thickness smaller than the diffraction limited, that
Yeah.
and we can filter out all the rest of the things. So people, they used to do is they used to try to make such super region based on phase engineering. So that is called super oscillation. So in 2020, Professor Andrew Jordan, he proposed something called super growth. That means like we can engineering this local frequencies which exceeds the band limit of the system using engineering the amplitude modulation. So what is the advantage of that is like when we try to do it by playing with the amplitude, not with the phase, we get more intensity. And for any real application, getting some resolution improvement is only valid if you have enough photon in it. So in super growth, we predicted to be getting more resolution with better intensity in that region. So that is it is like it is the first experiment of based on this theoretical prediction. And we are so it's a so it's the, I was the first one to do any experiment on super growth. So we are trying to develop into a functioning confocal or some other system with almost double or triple resolution with the same infrastructure.
So in terms of resolution, are you moving towards more about the diffraction limit that is actually 200 nanometer and
So currently we are yeah, that is there. It depends on not, we cannot say it's 200 nanometer or anything. We can say like, okay, with respect to this Na and with respect to this, I mean, obviously Na include numerical aperture, include the wavelength. So with respect to this optics and this wavelength of light, this is the resolution. That is basically the Rayleigh's curse or Rayleigh's limit, what we say. So what
Yeah.
we say that, what we are saying that, so we can see it as a, we take the diffract, we illuminate it with a plane wave, we get this jing like pattern, right? The pattern like this. So the width of that jing, that limits the resolution. We can say with this kind of phenomena we can get the central peaks, which is smaller and smaller. That is, it breaks the Rayleigh limit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that's the,
have you ever worked with the STED microscopy, the stimulated emission depletion microscopy?
no, I never worked with that.
Yeah, it can go beyond diffraction limit. It's 40 nanometer range.
Yeah,
That I
but here we can use it even without any, like, we can implement it on any conventional simple low cost optical system. We just need to add maybe a phase modulator to it, and it started giving twice and thrice.
That's great.
It's a far field technique. We don't need to touch
Yeah,
or
yeah.
put
Actually, I'm in the
object.
field of imaging microscopy. I understand the value of experiment. Right now, we are facing lots of things in the deep retinal imaging. Super resolution is
Okay.
kind of stuff we want, but this is very difficult part. It's generally
Yeah.
in terms of productivity, because what we have to do, number of human subject to develop those things. But the concept what you are working on is very great for the imaging
Yeah,
microscopy.
particularly for things like skin cancer and those things, they are currently using confocal for the first detection. So,
Yeah,
so that I see there this impacts will be more relevant
yeah.
at this stage at least. And
Confocal.
also this is like, these are concepts which can easily translate into radar. So here we are talking about space, replace the space with the time, we have a better radar, like better lidar, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that
confocal
way,
microscopy is always great. Confocal microscopy is always great because point by point is scanning everything you get. So,
that's a disadvantage, but for small
yeah.
specific knowledge,
So, so basically, about your research, PhD research, your supervisor is Dr. Bhaskar Kanseri.
yeah.
So tell me about your interaction with Dr. Bhaskar Kanseri in terms of research, how you interact with him, because number of new young research scholar has needs to understand how to interact their supervisor in efficient manner, so they can get great output.
I There are two questions: how I interacted with Professor Kansari, and in general, second question is in general what I think will be the
Yeah,
best way to interact with the professor. So with I was one of the first student in Professor Kansari's lab. And like he is like, I don't know, like less than 10 years, and we're not that. So the good thing about working with him was like he was available all the time.
yeah,
Like I don't need to take an
that's a
appointment.
great thing.
Anytime
That's a
knock
great thing.
the door and get there and talk to him. And there are in the initial days of PhD, I used to work from 9 a.m. to like late night, in the early morning 3 or something like that. So in between, like if I get an output at late night 9, I don't need to make a PPT or anything. I can simply click a photo or plot it
Same.
immediately and send it to him. And so, like I think once or twice we talked also during late, like after evening. So that accessibility anytime is something I always like think about, the good thing in working in the process and science lab. And when it comes to the second question, like if you choose a, or like I'm an advocate of keeping a professional relationship with professors
Yeah,
uh,
that's great.
in India, but it culturally little different. Like
Yeah, understand.
so yeah. Uh, so so in Delhi and all, like there is more of a hierarchical structure. Hierarchy exists everywhere, but in US, at least you can it's more free. Like
Yeah,
doesn't matter what is your some people may be a little.
Yeah,
It doesn't
understand that.
matter who you are. You can speak very freely.
Yeah.
So my mentor here, Professor Nick Wamiwakar. So initially I was little. I in bit because of the Delhi training. I in between attempt to say sir and all, but then I say Professor Kansari. sorry, Professor Wamiwakas. Then he's like, why are you calling me like that? Then
Yeah.
it took me 1 or 2 months to interact freely. Like now I'm like say
Here,
like
here in US, we only call by direct names. They're not like this. Just basically what we know that just name a professor. This is what we are working on that.
many great mathematician. If you read the history of mathematician, many great mathematician give their best research output at the age of 19, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
I mean, like after spending too many years in research, maybe my skills on approaching a problem, particularly as an experimentalist, approaching a problem might have been improved, or my overall knowledge about how it, why it is. But my basic instinct of doing research, I don't think it changed much. Like I have been like even if I got an opportunity, proper opportunity at the age of 20 to do a cutting edge research, I might have done it. What do you like, for example, what do you need? You need basic Fourier optics in or basic statistics, probability, or basic integration, differentiation, all those kind of things. These are the very basic tool you need to understand. Maybe it will take you some more time than it takes me now. I mean, as a 20-year-old, but I it's like I really think that even in college days they should be properly involved in cutting edge researches rather than just doing their academics. So when that being the case, what is the point of all these hierarchical names which we call each other? I think it is unnecessary. It's more of a colleague to colleague interaction. Obviously there will be someone will be boss and someone will be answerable to report to him. That will be there, but apart from that, I think it is. But the thing is that when we going to a different culture and interacting with them, it is always good to respect the culture there and uh, assimilate with the culture and try to make small changes. That will be better, I think.
So let's come to the research part. When we do research, basically, lots of researcher. So we have some result which is in our favor, some result which is not in our favor. So this generally what I call maybe positive result and negative result. So how do you analyze when you get the positive result, and how do you analyze when you get the negative result? How you link those results to each other?
Actually, there are like one way I can say there are no positive results and no negative results. There are only
Yeah,
results.
it's the research
Okay.
and
So
consultant.
you, as an experimentally, we set up something and we get something that is result. And even if it is a and in other way you can say positive result because you conceptualized something and you did the math and everything, and you are getting and you are not getting what you're supposed to get. Okay, that
Yeah,
that can be called a negative result. So there can be two scenario. One is you are doing not an experiment but like a lab exercise kind of thing. For example, you are setting up a Michelson interferometer and you are not getting any proper interference pattern. Why is that? Okay. uh, so 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 um, so you can literally concentrate more on
getting those results.
your equipments and your component and the way you are doing it. Okay. Now I have a Michelson interferometer that is working, and I want to test some new statistical phenomena which can be tested in a Michelson interferometer. So I verified all my components are working, all my instruments are working, and I added some features. So and I made sure that the source it need a particular different kind of engineered source. So I make sure that source is correct, and I feed the source into the interferometer, but I'm not getting what I'm getting. So in those cases, I had to really redo the theory also. I mean, because it's an untested theory. It's okay. So if you are only spending your whole day making, checking everything and everything, maybe that you should do. But there is a very good chance that the theory, because theoretician may or may not know how it works in experiment, and maybe we, when we conceive the experiment based on the theory, we might have made some error. So those kind of aspects also need to be considered. So scientifically speaking, whatever you are getting, you should troubleshoot why I'm getting, even if even if I'm getting an result, and if it is an up, even if I'm getting a result, I should literally do a lot of cross verification to understand that it is indeed a result. So yeah, that's a tricky part. But basically the thing is that we're getting a result. If you're not getting a proper result, we should go back to the roots and troubleshoot and understand why is that. And in such stage, discussing with a experienced colleague may help, because you don't need to you don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time. If you're talking to
Yeah.
someone who already know how to make the wheel, that's always be helpful.
So the next question is very important for both of us, for me and for you. Collaboration difference between India and right now you're working in US. What is the
Yeah.
main collaboration difference? Because we have to collaborate to get some good output because different lab has a different expertise. So how easier to collaborate in India and how easier to collaborate in US? Can you tell me about that?
I mean, I would like categorize as India, and like in India also there are several institutes I know personally who collaborate between department, who collaborate between faculties, and there are great many number of institute where everything happens. See, in US also I know personally there are many labs who don't do much collaboration, and there are many more labs which do a lot of collaboration. But in terms of the, if you take the ratio, in US more labs collaborate a lot, and
Yeah.
lesser labs. I mean, in India, very few labs do collaboration.
Actually,
I
I'm yeah.
so I seen like it is mostly a funding related issue. In India, they don't really have any collaboration. Comes with, what is the positive thing about collaboration? When I collaborate with a if I'm writing a paper or whatever. Okay, I'm doing a project. How, how the impact of the project will be determined? Is it because it's a good science, or it's a good? It mostly determined how appealing that thing is to the broader community. When we do collaborate with people of different expertise, the outcome of that project will be more appealing to the broader community. But if we are cooking it up in our own lab without discussing anybody, we may think like it's a groundbreaking technology, but other people said, why should we? so, so this is for me the basic difference between collaborating. The difficulty of collaboration is communication.
Yeah.
Effective communication is important in each and every step. I like, we have like the funded project is a collaboration between a theoretical group, Professor Andrew Jordan group, and Nick Wamiwaka's group. So the super resolution stuff, and it's keep going, and we are happy about it. So it's all mostly depends on the communication between Andrew and Nick. And also in a little lower level, or the postdocs or PhDs in both groups. So the paper recently out, the so for the first time we ever demonstrated a super growth in lab. So I used a function of my own, and and also a function, a super growing function developed by the theoretician using the numerical optimization techniques, and we wrote the paper together. So it always, it has this plus and minus. The negative is like we should have enough patience and communication skill to accommodate other people into the project, and it's really a need that we should learn. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's being that. So So and in US, I think it is required for most professors to have a collaboration. Without which they will never get a proper funding. In India, I don't think that is the case.
Yeah.
So so it's all funding related thing. In India, like if I'm a faculty in India, I can take like 3 to 4 students based on government government funding.
Fellowship. Fellowship.
But fellowships, yeah, fellowships and CSIR or institute
Yeah.
fellowship and all. Here you can't have even a single student if you don't collaborate. So I think like how our for society, for a layman, how they validate how your research is good or bad or anything. It depends on how much value they think our research add to the society. In that aspect, if it is a collaborative research, there is a very more chance that may be appealing to a broader community. I think so. Yeah.
So basically, what I want to ask, let's say any researcher who just recently joined a lab. So let's say the collaboration, there's a collaboration between the two professors, two labs, but this is the official. But there is an unofficial, unofficial channel that is started before that collaboration to talk with that team. So this is how it, what between two labs, this is how they collaborate. First, there's an unofficial channel, then it become official channel. So, do you have any experience of interacting in those in this manner? Because I have, I actually usually interact like that
Hmm.
through first so unofficial way to show that this is what I'm working, and then after that we make it official.
I mean, like there is that if you have that freedom, that's fine. But like in most cases, many group leaders will insist that any out of group communication must, at least they should be informed about it,
Yeah,
because of we don't know what kind of politics or dynamics going
yeah,
between
basically,
them. So for example, like if I have a already having collaboration with another group, uh, what I do here is like if I have like, I mean, I can have if it is related to the topic they are like, that is to one like there is a funded project and there is a topic of research, they already made a team, and if I am doing anything related to that, means like all in that topic, then it will be always polite to discuss the leader about like, okay, we were working on this, I think this fellow, you know, I mean, I'm talking with him, can we you know proceed in that way. I will say if I'm doing some research which is completely related or even very remotely related to a research the group is dealing with, then I'm free to proceed my own way, and later on I can ask like, oh, me and this fellow are developing something which may be useful to this project, can we proceed that way. So I don't think absolute independent are there. Some moral, I don't know the word moral is, some appropriate communication should be done, otherwise they may feel like, you know, you steal the idea and doing it with some
yeah,
people, that won't be good. So yeah, so that's
yeah.
how.
Basically, where we work, we cannot move an inch without collaboration because each step has a different measurement techniques and different people involved here. So basically, what we do, we talk to our professor, then according as per professor advice, we go talk to another professor. So this is what I'm working and this is what I have to measure. Our official collaboration actually right now here in UCI is depend on the first result what we got. When we got something result what we are discussing about that, then official collaboration is started. Otherwise, we are happy to they are happy that we can use that instrument and anything. Say at the end of the day, we need some good results, some good technology to solve. Right now here, what we work in terms of uh, care, retinal care for patients. So they
Okay.
wanted everything. So there's a different lab has a different scenario. But in India, I did not actually trying to collaborate with anyone because the official and unofficial channel both are seems like very difficult to me that time.
Yeah, in IT Delhi physics department, it's not that open discussion. Like discussion is fine if you are giving a seminar or a conference you can discuss with whoever you want, but otherwise I never felt that they are very much
Yeah, because
appreciated and kind of thing. Yeah.
because the I actually uh, I did not collaborate with anyone. It's not, maybe it's my fault. Mostly we have NRF and other facilities, top facilities
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
this is how we, let's say we want to do some different area, we have NRF for that. We have other facilities for that. We can directly use it. That was the advantage of IIT working in
Mhm.
that atmosphere. So maybe this was one of the reason, because here in everybody is not NRF. Everybody has a equipment, but it's very easy to use here. So it's kind of different way culture.
Yeah,
So
even sharing equipments and all, like
uh,
Nick here once told me that if it is a small instrument, you don't really need to ask my permission to lend it to anybody. I
yeah,
can,
yeah.
within my, like, I can give to a nearby lab. I don't need to inform him about it.
So
Yeah.
Setu, this is very good talk. So what about your advice for aspiring researchers right now?
Uh, I mean, like, not just for the researchers, for anybody in their career, I would like them to have a vision about what they want to do, what their real aspirations are, and design. Like, if you're not started your PhD yet, really take a moment or do an internship or whatever, and make sure that what you really want to do. If you want to do an industrial type PhD, then you should look for people who have that kind of topics or a way of doing research, and that will be a easy way in for the industry. And some people will, some professor, if you see abroad, most probably they will promote them to start their own company. In UFR also, who are working with this fiber connections and all those things, this is scientifically not a great topic. Whoever interested in too much science will be bored about it. But
Yeah,
they are starting their own companies. They're saying that new connectors with less loss, every photon counts. It's a big so. And there are topics, there are people in optics who works in all this meta surface design. Scientifically, they are not in, there is no new science. It's all the like, it's about the diffraction, subwavelength diffraction, and engineering the
yeah.
structures accordingly.
Here in US,
We all already know very long back. But I mean, I think your work also may related to the augmented reality, where they have to learn the retina and all kind of things. So all these, the meta is very, I mean, the flat surfaces, the meta surfaces are very good thing. So they can design like that. And if they want to real hardcore physics or whatever research, and that probably really, if they, what they wish is that, then they should look for groups who do a lot of fundamental research.
so basically
And
in
if you
US,
really only want to be a lecturer, don't take too much pain. Join
yeah,
a simple group and prepare for all those exams. So it's all up to them what you want to
yeah.
do. But keep
So
in mind how the AI world is evolving and how it may change
yeah.
the way lecturing in the future. Yeah.
So basically in the US, what we talk about industrial sectors, there's a rule. There's a, it's not official. There's a rule. It's 90-second rule. You have to pitch your research to any industrialist, any person in a simplest format in 90 seconds. So you have to make sure that they can get it in 90 seconds, because they have only that 1.5 minute time to listen to you. When they like this idea, then you can move on.
So,
So
like Nick always say, he has a lot of still have a lot of industrial collaboration. So I like, so he, if you want to make somebody really understand a thing, he keep on trying to,
yeah.
what say, like, make better and better wording, so that people get, at least get a feeling of they understand something, or they get a feeling of something there which may be useful. that,
So
that part. And it's a constant fight. Like, it's not like you are best in that. Every time you can say more clearly in simple words of whatever you are doing. So I mean this super resolution thing. I once heard explaining it to some students. He said that okay, you are seeing that thing. Okay, it's very blurred. You can't see anything. So we put this equipment there, and you start seeing things more clearly. So those two leaves, you don't know that is two leaves or one leaf. So you may see it when we use this kind of techniques. You can clearly see. Oh, there is two leaves. That is that is for school kids, huh? So that's a skill, I think, should be appreciated. But that is all part of being a good scientific communicator.
Yeah. So this is my favorite question. The next question is very my favorite question, and also maybe your favorite question. So work-life balance. Tell me about that. But right now I'm recently married, and you married 1.5 year ago. I think 2 year, no, 3 year ago. So what happened? Tell me about that. Work-life balance, because as a researcher, it's very difficult.
So so the I'm right now struggling with work life balance. It's
Okay.
mostly because my wife is in a different city and I'm trying to move to her city, or we together to as a professor. So it's a in academic circle it is called a two body problem.
Yeah.
When we are alone, what we have to see, we have to see like which where I play, what entertainment I have. So we can make a regular schedule about, like if I'm alone, I can play like, okay, this is the time I play. I wake up and this is my hobby day and whatever and all. So when you are married or having a family to look after, then you cannot stick to this single rule or single schedule of life. I know
Yeah.
many people do, but I think that is an injustice they are doing to the family they have. Why you really need to have a family when you are no how you have no plan but to give some money to them. So, but I think this two body problem will be more easy to deal with, or helping professionally. I mean, work life balance basis if we both are together, you know,
Yeah.
and not fighting.
Yeah, that's like you have to travel to state. I have to travel internationally to meet my wife most of the time.
Yeah,
So
same here. So where is she?
she's in Hong Kong. Hmm.
Oh,
So
too much travel, eh?
yeah,
Uh, Earlier, where like she was in West Coast, I was in East Coast. Then
yeah,
traveling once in a month itself. In US, it's pretty costly. The airfares
yeah.
are like, one week it was $80, so total 160. Okay, I can deal with that. And next month it is like a $250 one way, so $500. I'm like, oh.
So this last time I have talked with the Kalpak.
Okay,
So there's a two question I write every time. I ask Kalpak that I'm going to ask same question to you. I ask
okay.
Kalpak. It's about public perception and communication, because these two questions already I written. How
Hmm.
important do you think it for researchers to communicate their work to the public? The second question is, what are the some ways that public can better understand and support scientific research?
I'm not clear up. I didn't understand the second question. Can you elaborate on that?
So second question is that how we can communicate public so they can support our scientific research.
So there are two things actually in our stage as a PhD or a early career researcher. It is important for us to publicize our research to the broader scientific community. So whenever they say like who somebody say that Dr. Sethuraj, then it's always good if few of the big shot in the at least some of the big shots in the field. No, I noticed this work of him. That kind of publicity always help. And second kind of publicity is publicity of our work for the broader community of society. That will be
Difficult.
difficult, and sometimes uh, I mean like even that will be kind of impossible also in a way, because how can I say my advanced proposal on polarization to people who don't know what is electromagnetic beams are, what is light and what is polarization. So they know only there is light and there is different color of light and there is something called polarization there, and he is doing something on that which may be applicable to many devices and other kind of things. So so they might not be able to appreciate what advances we made, but it will be always good to publicize. Like publicity is I have seen people shy away from publicity. uh, so I don't like it. People should go with publicizing things, but among people who do a lot of publicizing kind of thing,
Yeah.
I don't like them doing on wrong basis or miscommunicating the science just to increase curiosity. And this teleportation and all, like when we were like kids, people used to say things can be transported from one place to another and all. But basically it is a quantum teleportation. What they are doing, that they transfer one state to other place, one quantum state to other place. That's what basically it does, like, so over kind of oversimplification people do, which is goes against what actually the scientific observations are, is something I don't like. I don't support. But overall, I mean, in an individual level or as a community, it is always good to publicize, because in individual level, when we more publicize, people will recognize us more and we get more opportunities. At least let it be a publication. If they know we are good and we are doing great, and they know our paper, the first impression, the first impression will be better. That always helps. And as a community, if we do a lot of outreach to the broader community, broader society, the funding, it will help the funding. The policy maker sitting in government, not just one government, multiple government, will have a more pro science attitude. But that is not really limited on us. It the as a scientific community, what we are doing and how we attracting the public interest to the science, that's a very different question. So
Yeah. It was very first thing that is there's lots of thing I understood during this research conversation, and it
uh,
was very nice. But the last question that is I want to any closing thought about what you can advise to the researcher and anything. This final closing thought about your research and everything.
I mean, like, research, like, have an open mind and do what you like to do. And
Yeah.
because it's a change, always changing environment, and you have to be very mindful and to understand what's happening around you. And but keep your passion alive. That's
Yeah.
important. And when you get older and older, the work life balance really getting
Yeah.
more of a complex problem than you may
And,
anticipate.
oh, writing paper. Writing paper is more about I'm focused in that closing thought. So when you work in experimental research work, how do you plan to write the paper, and what is your final agenda that we have to present this way, and how what is the linearity non-linearity in in this paper? How do you discuss with the generals?
I think it's a part of being a good communicator, and this is a part where scientists in general won't give much effort. Like we should keep on reading and understanding things, not just in science, because the language we use is English, and we have to be really good in it. I know English people whose paper feels like really bad.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it is not about it's your. So there is academic way of using the language, and there is casual communication thing. So being uh, like like I may be best in casual communication in my own mother tongue, but I might not be that good of an academic writer in my mother tongue because we trained in English. So So that part, that is something like we always need to rub and make it shine all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, I literally improved a lot in paper writing during my postdoctoral training. I must say, because here, I mean, I felt like that because the way here, I mean, I like the way methodology we follow here. It's more like attracting many people to read it. So the first few paragraph, at least first one paragraph, anyone have very basic knowledge in optics may appreciate, and moving into it, getting things more and more, like it's like a bird's eye view kind of writing
Yeah.
follow.
Yes.
That's very difficult. For example, like if I
And it's
have a result and
time to say.
it's very it's very easy. It's a week time work. Like I make the diagram, write the thing, write the theory and everything. But how to reiterate and make it how even the figures and all, like, because sometimes people only read abstract, look at the figures, and that think like what they understand. So our challenge is that only by reading abstract and the figures and the conclusion and a little bit of introduction, they should understand it. No, only if when that is understandable or up, like in introducing curiosity in them, then only they look at rest of your paper. But the question is, do you really want everyone to understand your paper? That's up to you. But it
Yeah.
is something which something researchers should take it more seriously. It always helps. It always saves time. If you are good academic, you if you do have good academic rating skills, that's something could really appreciate.
So, final thoughts on AI.
Eh, uh, AI can help us save time. For example, I was thinking about a complex problem, and I wrote whatever come into my mind. Like in half an hour, I wrote everything. I think I reflected whatever in my mind. I'm thinking that I reflected that to the writings. Maybe after 1 week, I'm reading it again. I may know, oh, it's not like that and everything. So, but and or I can give to you, Atul, and say that Atul, you read it and let me know what you understood. And based on your the reflection, you are whatever you are saying to
Proofreading.
me, I
Proofreading.
can understand that whether I did a good job in that writing. Because one thing is what is in my mind, another thing is what I written over there. It's very difficult to reflect that there. So AI, in my opinion, can give that help. If you write some arbitrary thing and ask them to, okay, what you understood, that may give some output, that can give you some idea before giving to anyone to proofread that whether you communicated what you're supposed to communicated
Yeah.
properly. But AI helping me more in writing scripts, writing codes and all. Otherwise, like if for a theoretician they use MATLAB and Mathematica at daily basis. So as an experimentalist, we may be doing experimental design one time, and after 5 months we have to do a coding again. So we might have forgotten everything and everything. So here I can do a lot of prompting and make a code, and I can do some testing and I can improve on it. So that way it can save a lot of time.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this kind of kind of a public testing for the first time, that very helpful. And these unnecessary things like we have to write a letter to somebody which sounds like appreciating.
I hope you find you're fine. It's
So
kind
those
of
kind of thing, like we can
every
have
time you
we,
type
we,
like that is
we
come.
can
I hope
ask
you're
them to
fine.
write and edit and send that kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's good. So,
Once I sent a
Setu,
mail to them, I asked the AI to write everything, and I did edit it also. But
yeah.
best regards, I forgot to write my name, so it was like your name.
Yeah.
That was awkward.
So, so finally, Setu, it was very nice talk to you. So, and I wanted you to be here to express your research thought and everything. So this is what I do, and this is kind of I'm very kind of Marvel fan and also DC fan some in some extent. So
Okay.
I'm trying to develop a research universe where the number of researchers came, and one day there will be this platform will be something like I will how much I'm going to interact with different researcher with their research, and when the number of researcher will come to the platform, and you are also be there, and after that we'll discuss about number of things, final a very diverse idea of research during that process. So this is a
Yeah.
one step towards this communication is a one step towards that kind of effort.
Yeah.
So
I remember, like I said earlier, like you told me once you had a lot, like you always wish to be a good communicator
yeah,
of science towards, I mean, to the broader community, so society.
exactly. Yeah,
So I appreciate that. It's a good
yeah.
hobby, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, out of research, I this is my actual one of the curiosity to do that. The question
Okay.
is not that can I do this or not. It's matter of right now my experience, how much I can uh, talk to different researcher, how can I understand different researcher, because it's
Mm.
open our mind in the different way, because sometimes we work in the lab and we are just in our own surroundings, and we think that we do something great and this is something great. Every researcher thinks this work is greatest of the all. But when we talk with different researchers, and during that project, everybody is doing some kind of hard work, and that it's matter of time when we understand their research, and we know our research, and we started talking to their research and our research and developing another new thing. So this is very diverse research is very diverse field, also very um, in optics way is very coherent field. You have to be more focused and everything should match. So this but well, I know I appreciate your work. I sometime I radio research works, because of I also right now work in the imaging microscopy. I need some kind of super resolution and other stuff, so
Mm.
I will keep on reading it. Last time I interacted with Kalpak, and say right now I'm interacting with you. Both are very good, and I thought initially I was more scared than you guys that explaining that when you explaining it how much I'm going to get it now. And thank you that how much you explain very easily, very simple. You explain it in very simplified manner, so I can understand and I can communicate with you. That is great thing.
Maybe this mentoring experience helped me a lot because I had to explain this to undergrads,
Yeah.
postgrads, and PhD students. So it's
So thank you, Setu. We are closing to our 55 minutes schedule.
okay, okay,
This is the barrier.
okay.
So we'll discuss your research later in the when I will develop here in new that means research universe. Then we'll talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, man. Thank you for talking. This was a great talk. Do you
My
like it?
thank you.
Do you like it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, man. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Yeah.